What Randy forgot to tell you was my last collegiate at bat, he threw about a 92-mile-an-hour fastball on the inside corner and struck me out looking. So my last at bat was not very good, Coach. So good job. Just want to thank the high school league, Coach Hill, and all the high school coaches for this opportunity today to come share a few things with you that we do at Francis Marion. And my thing today was offensive strategies. So when I put this little piece together, I thought about things as I'm sitting there standing in the third base dugout, what's going through my mind and what am I trying to do, and sometimes more importantly, trying what not to do. So I'm going to share 5 things with you today that we do at Francis Marion. I want to start off by talking about 5 times that we take a strike at Francis Marion. And we do this religiously. 5 times we take a strike. Anytime a new pitcher enters the game, it's the top of the 7th, it's a 2-2 game, and you know, Newberry's bringing in a new arm out of the bullpen. Bases could be loaded. It could be to start off the inning. It makes no difference to me. But what we don't want to do is swing at a pitch that might be out of the zone early in the count and give him an easy way to get out of that inning. So we always take until we get a strike with that new pitcher coming in out of the bullpen. Y'all know the next one. All of y'all use this one. 2 pitches, 2 outs. That's one of the oldest ones in baseball philosophy. Pitcher throws 2 pitches, there have been 2 consecutive outs. We're all probably taking that 3rd pitch. The previous batter was hit by a pitch. So, you know, you're standing there in the third base dugout. Little Billy just got hit with a breaking ball, right on right breaking ball, and that pitcher's showing that he's having some command issues. So again, we don't want to let him off the hook very easily. We want to make him pitch. So I'm going to put the take sign on, and that next hitter is going to be taken until we get a strike. The 4th one, and this can also be used as a comeback philosophy for you as a coach if you don't already have one developed. Anytime you're down by 2 runs or more late in the game, you want to use this philosophy. I use it every single time. Down by 2 or more runs late in the game. Well, there's a couple things there we need to establish. What is late in the game? That's in a 7-inning game. A doubleheader for us might be a 7-inning game. It's in the 5th inning. In a 9-inning game, it'll be the 7th inning. For instance, we're playing Lander. Lander's up 2-0 in the bottom of the 7th. My guys already know. I'll tell them, scoreboard check. They'll know that we're taking a strike. Every single one of them. So we're going to make that pitch count soar if that starter's still in the game. If it's a reliever, we're going to make him work because we're down in the game and we have to prolong that game as much as we can. In basketball, when you're down and you don't have the ball, what do? You fight. In football, when you have the ball and you're behind in the game, what do? You pass. In baseball, when you're behind in the game, what do? You take pitches. You're trying to get the pitch count to soar, and for all you high school guys, I understand you'll have this high school pitch limit now. So if you're facing a stud and it's the 5th inning, and you already got him at 65 to 70 pitches, and say he's already struck out 10 or 11 guys, and you want to get him out of the game, you take some strikes late in the game, and that pitch count will soar. And that's how you get him out of there. Now, let's say, go back to that Lander game when we're down 2-0. We score 1 in the bottom of the 7th to make it 2-1. As soon as that first run crosses the plate, my guys know the take is off. It is now a 1-run game, so we no longer take. We go back to the top of the 8th, and Lander gets another one to go up 3-1. I don't have to share with them that we're taking a strike again. They already know it. They'll do a scoreboard check late in the game. So we're back to taking pitches. We get another one in the bottom of the 8th. Now it's 3-2. We're not taking anymore. So it could be back and forth constantly there. Sometimes we'll be down 13-0 in the 7th inning on a Friday night game against USC Aiken, for instance. And we'll take a strike. Sometimes, because we have a Saturday game and a Sunday game, we want to get him to use as much of his bullpen as possible. So rather than us just going up there and flailing away and, having a 3-pitch inning, we want to prolong that game as much as possible so that he ultimately is going to have to use more pitching maybe than he wants to. Or at least we're going to get him, if he leaves one guy in, we're going to get him to burn him for the rest of the weekend. So that guy will be out of the way. Give you an example. We're playing an inter-squad game in the last week, and we got the backups against the starters, and we put the majority of the good pitchers facing the starters. Well, the starters are down 4-0 in the 8th inning. We start taking pitches. The first inning doesn't go, like you want it to. It goes 3 up, 3 down. But we come in the 9th inning, and we taking strikes again, and we get the first 2 on. And our goal at that point is we're trying to get the tying run to the plate. There's only 3 outs left, and we're trying to make up a 4-run deficit against who supposedly is one of our better arms out of the bullpen late in the game. Well, we get 2 off of him, and we get his pitch count, just that 1 inning, to 23 pitches. So think about that. We didn't win the game, but we won as far as making a comeback, because for 7 innings, we only had 1 hit and didn't score a run. And then for 2 innings, we took strikes, and it was really good to us. We got that pitch count way up. Any questions about that before I move on? I've always used that in my 20 years as a head coach as a comeback philosophy. I think it gives your team something to rally around. It gives you some hope. And it just gives you a philosophy late in the game that you can kind of hang your hat on, per se, and everybody knows what you're doing. Okay? And then the last or 5th time that we'll take a strike is after the opposing pitcher has thrown 4 straight balls. Again, we're doing everything we can not to let him off the hook easily. We're going to make him work. And that's our objective. One of our objectives every time we face an opponent is we want to get that starter out of the game as quickly as possible. Any question about those 5 times that we take a strike at Francis Marion before I move on to the next one? I did that good of a job explaining it? Wow. Something else, and this is just a one-liner that we do. We don't swing at first pitch breaking balls. There are 2 family of pitches. There's fastball and slider that are in the same family of pitches. They're very difficult to distinguish. As a hitter, you're a right-handed hitter, and the guy's 86 to 88, and he throws an 80-mile-an-hour slider that only moves about that much. It's hard to distinguish those 2 pitches apart. But it's very easily to distinguish a loopy breaking ball, an 0-0 loopy breaking ball. So that's in another family of pitches, the curveball and the changeup. So we'll take a curveball every single time until he throws it for a strike. Now the second time around, we'll swing it. But we're doing everything that we can not to do what he wants us to do. He wants us to swing at that 72-mile-an-hour breaking ball, roll it over to third, or pop it up. And we're not going to do what he wants us to do. We all want to swing, and I'm sure we all teach and preach, we want to swing at fastballs. And that's trying to give us the insurance policy to get us a fastball. This is not really I guess you'd say an offensive philosophy, but it's more of what can really burn me as a coach. And something that really burns me as a coach is hitting into a double play. I can't stand it. So we do a lot of bunting And we do a lot of hitting and running at Francis Marion because I don't want to hit into a double play. Reason I don't want to hit into a double play is that they're inning killers, and more importantly than that, they're momentum swingers. They will swing the momentum of the game. If you've got it at that point in the game, it'll swing it to your opponent, or it'll have the potential to swing it to your opponent. And, you know, throughout the game, a good game, momentum will shift 3, 4, maybe 5 times at the most. And so you want to get that momentum and keep it as long as you can. For instance, if you're up 2-1 in the 5th inning and you got bases loaded with nobody out, for me, that's a helpless feeling. Because there's nothing you can really do except what? Hit. I'm not a squeezer and I'm not a safety bunt guy. So, you know, it increases the chances of you hitting into a double play. So you're up 2-1, 5th inning, your guy rolls over a ball to short, hits into a double play, you get a run out of it to go up 3-1, you got a guy at third with 2 outs, next guy pops up or grounds out or something. I'm telling you right now, your opponent's on cloud 9 because the bases were loaded with nobody out and you only got 1 run out of it. So now that momentum has shifted to their side. And that's what you gotta keep in mind. And then the last thing I put down before I get off here is delay stealing. I love to delay steal because the middle infielders will tell you whether the play will work or not. The pitcher throws the ball to the catcher, and if those 2 middle infielders aren't breaking to the bag, then you can delay steal every single time. So you're not delay stealing off of the catcher. You're delay stealing off of the middle infielders. If they're not doing what they're supposed to do, you can delay steal every single time. Every single time. It doesn't really matter how fast the guy at first is. In fact, I'll delay steal more with catchers, DHs, because they have a better chance to delay steal and steal the bag versus just straight stealing. And we all probably teach delay steal the same way. You get your normal lead, you bounce, you're getting as much as you can get because you know you're not going back to first. And on that second bounce, you're taking off and going to second base. So it's shuffle, shuffle, go on that delay steal. We use that play a lot at Francis Marion. Let me see if I got anything else here. One last little gimmick play that we use is we got runners at first and third and 1 out. You got to picture this in your mind. Runners at first and third, 1 out. We call this a tag-up play at first and third. The ball will be hit in foul territory between both bases back toward the catcher. We will double tag as soon as they catch the ball and the infielder or catcher's back is to second base. So the ball is in between first base and third base in front of the dugouts in foul territory. This is our signal for that play. Just a finger point in the air. The runner at first will tag, go to second, the runner at third will tag. You're hoping that they throw it to second base. If they throw it to second base, it becomes basically a first and third play. They won't have time because the distance is too far from the throw to throw it back to home. The only way that that play can be stopped is if there's a cutoff guy in between the second baseman and the guy throwing the ball. Okay? So to prevent people from doing that play to you, you must have a cutoff guy. Okay? Any questions about anything that I talked about today? I apologize. I go real fast and I ramble. But that's just my nature. Yes, sir, Coach Allen.
When you're in a late game, you're down by 2 runs, and you get a guy out there that's got a plus breaking ball or definite strikeout pitch, and you're down by 2, you feel that taking until they throw you a strike might be the only fastball you get?
There are times that we will take it off if he's a master at throwing that first one for a strike. So yeah, there are times that I'll back off of it, but Kyle's been with me for 4 years now, and I've won a lot of games coming back like that. Very rarely do I take it off. Because if it is a bullpen guy, and it's early in that series, I want to burn that bullpen guy. So, you know, I'm going to make sure that we get his pitch count up so we don't have to see him on Saturday and Sunday. Good point, though. I think you, as you're developing your philosophy, you know, I'm just giving you what we do. And then y'all can develop what y'all want out of it. Anything else? Again, thank you for the opportunity for our staff to come share with you guys today. And please, please, I know a lot of you really personally. If you ever have a player, please call us. Don't send them all to Carolina Clemson. Thank you.